Shocking Sisu secrets of resilience. Startling Finnish fortitude. Dear viewer, let's talk about how Finland's flustering and ferocious fortitude forged a fearless nation in terms of history, philosophy and psychology. Finland's frigid forests, frozen lakes, frostbitten foothills and fast ice have birthed a beast of a concept called Sisu. This is a word so potent it makes mere mortals marvel and motivational gurus weep into their overpriced lattes. This isn't just resilience. This is resilience after chugging 3 shots of espresso while wrestling a bear in a snowstorm. It's about clenched teeth, perseverance, stubborn stamina and gutty resolve. Sisu is the iron will that powered Finland through wars, famines and winters so brutal they make the toughest wolf whimper. But what exactly lurks beneath this legendary term? Let's plunge into the historical, philosophical and psychological depths of Sisu, uncovering secrets so shocking they will stiffen your spine, or at the very least, jolt you awake with the urgency of a Finn realising someone took the last slice of Karjalan piraka. Those buttery rye pastries are no joke. Warning. This video may contain traces of pretentious vocabulary, meandering metaphors, intentional alliteration, and a sleep-inducing monotone narration. You're welcome! Part 1. Historical hellscape, how Sisu saved Finland from certain doom. Picture this, dear viewer, it's 1939 and the Soviet Union with its gargantuan war machine decides to invade this plucky little Nordic nation. In the Winter War, the Soviets had nearly 500,000 soldiers, thousands of tanks, and an air force that darkened the skies like a biblical plague. Stalin, smug as a cat with a belly full of cream, assumes Finland will fold faster than a cheap lawn chair. But oh, how wrong he was. Instead, Finland's outnumbered, outgunned, but decidedly not out-Sisu'd forces turned the frozen wilderness into a playground of pain for the invaders. Finnish soldiers clad in white camouflage zipped through the snow on skis, ambushing Soviet troops with the precision of a chef dicing onions. Except the onions were tanks, and the chef was a farmer-turned-sniper with a grudge. This wasn't just military strategy, this was Sisu in its purest, most savage form. The Finns refused to surrender even when logic screamed they should. They fought until the Soviets, despite their overwhelming numbers, staggered away, bloodied and bewildered. The world gasped. How? The answer? Sisu. This was the unkillable spirit of a people who'd rather gnaw off their own frostbitten toes than admit defeat. But Sisu didn't just appear overnight. Finland's entire history reads like a survival manual written in frozen ink. For centuries, the Finns endured Swedish rule, Russian oppression, and a climate so harsh it could make a Viking reconsider his life choices. Through it all, the Finns clung to Sisu like a life raft in a stormy sea. When famine struck, they ate bark bread without complaint. When wars raged, they fought like wolverines backed into a corner. And when peace finally came, they rebuilt their nation with the same quiet determination that had carried them through the darkest days. Part 2. Philosophy of Sisu. Stoicism meets stubbornness on steroids. If ancient Greek philosophers had stumbled upon Finland, they'd have either written epic poems about Sisu or fled in terror. Sisu draws inspiration from the 2,500-year-old Greek concept of timos, which is the spirited part of the soul that drives individuals to pursue greatness. Sisu, however, isn't just about enduring suffering. It's about loving the grind so much you name your firstborn after it. At its core, Sisu is a close cousin of Stoicism, but with less marble and more muttering curses under your breath while chopping firewood in -22 degrees Fahrenheit. The Stoics, like Seneca and Epictetus, preached accepting what you can't control. The Finns take it further, saying that you don't just accept hardship, you laugh in its face and then take a steamy sauna to celebrate. Philosophers might call Sisu an existential defiance, which is the refusal to let circumstances dictate your fate. Friedrich Nietzsche's proposed the concept of the Übermensch, Superman, the individual who transforms suffering into strength. Where Nietzsche declared, "What does not kill me makes me stronger," a Finn would grunt, "What does not kill me better run, because now I'm pissed." Sisu is raw, unfiltered human willpower distilled into a national identity. But Sisu isn't blind stubbornness. It's a calculated, almost artistic form of resilience. The Finns understand that suffering is inevitable, but defeat is optional. They don't waste energy whining about unfairness, they conserve it for action. This isn't just theoretical philosophy, it's an active survival tactic honed over generations. When your ancestors spent centuries battling blizzards and invaders, you learn pretty quickly that self-pity is about as useful as a wooden spoon against a moose-filled tornado. Part 3. Psychology of Sisu, Grit, Guts and Glorious Madness. Modern psychologists adore Sisu because it's the ultimate case study in how humans survive the unsurvivable. Psychologist Angela Duckworth's research on grit, that stubborn blend of passion and perseverance, would nod approvingly at Sisu, Finland's turbocharged cousin of resilience. While grit patiently climbs mountains, Sisu headbutts them into submission, scoffs at discomfort and then takes an ice bath just to celebrate. Duckworth might argue that grit predicts success, but a Finn would counter that Sisu guarantees survival, preferably while glaring at a blizzard and muttering, "Is that all you've got?" Duckworth would probably high-five a Finn and then immediately regret it when her hand froze to theirs. Sisu isn't just perseverance, it's perseverance with a side of berserker energy. Studies suggest that people with high levels of Sisu don't just tolerate stress, they thrive on it. Their brains rewire adversity into fuel, turning obstacles into a sicko kind of fun. But here's the shocking secret. Sisu isn't innate, it's cultivated. Finnish kids are practically marinated in Sisu from birth. They nap outside in subzero temperatures and are taught that complaining is as useful as a teapot made of margarine. When they get older, they compete in absurdly grueling sports like wife carrying. Yes, that's real. Psychologists call this stress inoculation, which is the idea that tiny doses of hardship build mental calluses. By the time a Finn hits adulthood, they've faced down so much discomfort that a flat tyre or a failed project barely registers. Meanwhile, the rest of us panic if our Wi-Fi drops for 5 seconds. But Sisu isn't just about toughness, as it's also about emotional intelligence. Finns have a remarkable ability to stay calm under pressure, a trait psychologists link to lower levels of chronic stress, unlike the Stoic tradition, which emphasizes the suppression of emotions. Sisu acknowledges the importance of feeling and expressing emotions. It's okay to cry, to scream or to vent, but only for a moment. The Finnish phrase ensin itku, sitten työ, which means first tears then work, captures this essence perfectly. It's the recognition that emotions are a natural part of the human experience, but they shouldn't hold us back from pursuing our goals. Part 4. Sisu in everyday life, from saunas to startups. Sisu isn't confined to battlefields or frozen forests. It's woven into the fabric of Finnish daily life. Take the sauna, for example. To outsiders, it's just a hot, steamy room. To Finns, it's a Sisu training ground. Sitting in blistering heat until your pores scream for mercy, then running outside and plunging into an ice hole, that's not relaxation. That's a masterclass in mental endurance. But Sisu is not just about individual resilience. It's also about community and social bonds. In Finland, the concept of Fortitude, collective work and mutual support is deeply ingrained. When one person falls, the community rallies around them, providing a safety net of support and encouragement. Then there's education. Finland's school system is globally renowned, not because it's easy, but because it teaches kids to think independently and push through challenges. There's no coddling and no participation trophies. It's just the quiet expectation that you'll figure it out no matter what. Even Finnish humour reflects Sisu. Their jokes are dry, understated, and often involve surviving absurd hardships. A classic example: a Finn walks into a bar and doesn't say anything for 3 hours. Then he mutters, "Life is tough," and leaves. It's not just comedy, as it's a cultural embrace of endurance with a smirk. Part 5. Sisu in the modern world. Why we all need a dose of Finnish fury. In today's world of instant gratification and adulting is hard memes, Sisu is the antidote to our collective wimpiness. The Finns have mastered the art of embracing the suck, and frankly, we could all use a lesson. A popular Finnish saying is, "Sisu will get you even through granite." Want to build Sisu? Here's how. Do the hard thing first. Finns don't procrastinate. They attack problems like a moose defending its forest. Finns embrace discomfort. A cold shower? Good. Heavy workload? Even better. Pain is just weakness leaving the body. Silence the inner whiner. Sisu doesn't have time for self-pity. Suck it up and keep moving. But Sisu isn't just for individuals, as it's a blueprint for societies as well. Finland's rise from a war-torn backwater to one of the world's most prosperous nations is proof that collective Sisu works. They didn't wait for handouts. They rolled up their sleeves and built a future with their own calloused hands. Part 6. Will you harness Sisu or wilt like warm lettuce? Sisu isn't just a Finnish quirk, as it's a universal superpower hiding in plain sight. History proves it works. Philosophy admires its brutal elegance. Psychology confirms it's trainable. The only question left is, do you have the Sisu to seize it? Because in the end, life doesn't care about your excuses. The world belongs to those who endure, and Finland's icy grip on resilience is proof. So, the next time you're tempted to quit, ask yourself, what would a Finn do? Then grab life by the reindeer horns, yell perkele, the Finnish equivalent of hell yeah, and march forward. After all, if Sisu can turn a frozen stump land into one of the happiest nations on earth, imagine what it could do for you. The choice is yours. Will you break, or will you embody Sisu and stand up bent but unbroken? Perkele!